Okay, evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 23rd, it's 2025 Executive Committee meetings. I want to say you'll probably hear it one last time, but Happy New Year to everyone. My name is Xavier Santiago. I'm the chair of Community Board 11. This meeting is officially called to order at 6:31 p.m. Thank you to everyone who showed up on time. Tonight, we're joined by District Manager Angel Muscane. Before we jump into the meeting, a few ground rules. In order to conduct efficient meeting, let's observe the rules. 1, no one may speak until ground to the floor. 2, CB11 members, if you have a question about floor business in which to make a motion, please raise your hand. You can do that either through Zoom or if you're here in the room. You should wait to be recognized. 3, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand, being recognized, and making such comments that. 4, when a member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you may unmute yourself, or I will motion to you to speak. 5, please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. 6, members of the public, and that's it. So with that, we'll take roll.
Members, when I call your name, please answer present. Jose Altamirano, sorry. That's the first time for Stephanie Arroyo. Adem Bria. Present. Rosa Diaz.
Present.
Jessica Elliott. Nelson Rama.
Present.
Claudia Perez. Asher Rodriguez.
Present.
Pastor Spanish. Xavier Santiago.
Present.
Essex Studies excuses. Anne Marie Vasquez.
Present.
Person Villanueva. Michelle Wiltshire Clement.
Present.
Quorum.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that, we will now move on. The agenda was second. All right, we have a quorum. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time at the board office and was posted on. If there are no objections, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you wish to adopt, yes, you have a motion. Yes, which,
No, I think the fact that there's not a discussion on here is a problem, and it's now January, we need to come up with a concrete plan on what we're gonna do, because then we're gonna end up getting to the end of the year, it's the same cycle.
okay, so I will gladly entertain that under new business.
Okay, thank you.
Online.
Stephanie is online. Okay, she submitted a form. Okay, duly noted. Thank you. With one amendment under new business, we're discussing attendance. Continuing discussion. Are there no other further objections for the adoption of the agenda? Seeing none raised, it is adopted with the one amendment. The committee minutes were submitted in advance. There are no objections to adopting those minutes. Please raise your hand. Wish to object. Seeing no hands raised, the minutes from last December's meeting are adopted. We'll now have our announcements. A couple announcements, and I want to say thank you, Adam. We tried to have our first night tour. We have our next one. When is that going to be?
We have one on Saturday and another one on Sunday.
Okay, what time?
They're both at 1 o'clock. I don't know any more details in my head, but
Okay, so we have our two. Please join us if you can at 1 p.m. One on Saturday and one on Sunday.
I'll send it to all of you here too.
So be on the lookout for that. We also have an emergency meeting, or Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting. That will be happening next Monday. They lost quorum also too. It's just made aware that quorum was lost and the meeting carried on. No one was aware at the time, but we will look into how we address that going forward. These things happen. However, we'll be looking into this and addressing it. So next will be we also have a legal aid forum with deepening our relationships with 9 and 10. It will be a Harlem legal aid clinic. Angel, thank you for reaching out and making recommendations to Silverman School Social Work and also New York Academy of Medicine. We will determine which one could actually house us. Legal aid is expecting the course of the day about 300 to 400 people. Again, very pleased to see this come together, and they'll be addressing everything from housing, public safety, also dealing with small business. So I really implore you to get involved with that. We're looking at potentially March 15th from 10 to 5 p.m. With that, I will now move on. If anyone else have announcements? Yes, Angel.
Yeah, we just got, just announced today, on, January 16th, the mayor's preliminary budget for fiscal year 26 was released. The charter requires community boards to submit a letter of comments on the preliminary budget, addressed and sent to elected officials in 30 days. OMB, saying this for the newer members, the veteran members knows. OMB will accept our submission even after the deadline, so long as it's not too late. As such, we will target the executive committee meeting on February 20th, and have the letter approved and submitted the following day. This process will be coordinated by the district needs and budget committee in consultation with the committee chairs.
Any other announcements? Yes.
For youth and education in February, for February meeting, we're having, the Nightingale School come and present. And I remember some people had concerns about that in full board. So if you have any questions for the school, please come. We also have, people from Not Another Child coming to, talk about their, basketball team and violence prevention they're doing between Jefferson projects and Wagner. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
I just wanted to highlight that with the public safety and transportation, we're going to be voting on the district, the Danny recommendations. And so. Oh,
Can I ask about that?
go ahead.
It's,
Oh, wait, sorry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
so it's the follow-up from the previous meeting where we had the two voices come together.
Correct.
And what, if any, changes are being made to what was previously presented afterward?
The only thing that was different of what was presented at full board was that we had the Legal Aid Society come
I
in.
know I'm asking about the physical, the letter
The
that
actual letter
Yeah.
has not been changed.
at all.
The actual letter has not been changed at all. However, there is nuances that can be added.
I think like we just have to be careful, like when we say like Danny's letter, like it sounds like we're taking something from someone and just regurgitating it out as a community board, and we shouldn't be doing that. So I would hope that, you know, in the conversation in your committee that there's, like you're saying, some nuance added to that letter that, you know, brings in the rest of the conversation.
Recommendations are just recommendations, it's how we feel about that. That would be written in some sort of letter resolution. But it would not be verbatim what they have put down.
And that
That has always been a given.
that's gonna be, because I know you said there's an emergency meeting.
Well, she termed it as an emergency. It's a makeup for when they lost quorum before they could actually have the conversation.
Okay.
And
And the full board is literally the next day. So I'm just concerned that people haven't had the time that they need to review the document coming out of what was heard at the last.
we will, I
I mean,
definitely think let's, yes, Jose.
They've had 8 months to. This is not new.
It's
They've
not
had
that it
8
doesn't
months,
change.
So
you know,
That's
and
what-
we have to remember that it is a letter of support. We won't, it's not our position per se, like this is going to go under budget in the governor's, so we can put as much as we want. I'm not against that, but just keep in mind that it's not necessarily going to like, they're looking more like in favor, no, and if there are anything we want to put, but I've heard some very like. I'm all about adding language if it makes sense, but not like crazy language, you know. I also heard about like if a lot of people were saying if enough budget was given, then this doesn't have to be done. But that's not even going in there.
So I think so just respectfully, I think there's an opportunity for us all to attend that meeting and to opine like Jose just said and adding nuance, it may be.
And I think if you have that, you should send it beforehand.
Yeah.
So that it can be presented beforehand, because this is not, I don't think they're gonna be there for that extended period of time. To like, you know, so whatever information's there should be kind of presented. It is very controversial and I understand why people. But I do think this is gonna go forward if we don't say anything or not, and the budget has officially started, so we should take a position.
We
So,
want to take the position before the budget goes in.
so hold on, please, so I'll recognize, all right, so the thought I would say is that get something circulated. That is the draft, and as I like to say, you know, every resolution or letter of support starts, you know, and it's in its simplest form, but if it's gonna be a simple Boolean, or like Jose said, it could boil down, if there's more money allocated, then maybe this or that, or a lot to afford that opportunity for discussion. And then everyone who has opinions, we all show up and have that discourse, and that's where that is done, so. And again, all members can contact each other and have those discussions. Yes, Jess, you want to say something? real
So
quick?
to Patrick's point at the beginning of the meeting, the attendance and the loss of quorum at your meeting, like, it's one thing for like. You need to go back and watch the recording, understand what happened at that meeting, but now there's like a second meeting. It is a lot to ask for people to attend multiple meetings because we aren't able to achieve quorum and do the work that we're supposed to be doing in the committee. And now we don't have we have a very quick turnaround for something that clearly a lot of people have, you know, feelings about in full board, but I don't think we should just hand wave, like, sure, it's been going on for many months, but only last month did we get a like different opinion, so it's still.
No, what I'm saying is people should not wait for the meeting. If there's language that should be added, they should approach Michelle. Everyone has each other's contacts. I think it would be poor in taste to kind of try to mitigate language at the last moment in that meeting, because then it'll go on forever and you gotta approve it. This is only my suggestion. If there's anything major that wants to be added, I don't think anyone's against adding language. You know, if it's approval under these conditions, no problem. What I'm saying is, I think for the rest of the committee, it would be unfair to start that discussion there. I think any language like that, either we can discuss it tonight or, you know, briefly, or send it, because otherwise you may not get it done. It's if you even have quorum that day.
It's not even on here. That's my fault.
Because it hasn't, it has not been voted, so, all right, with that, we're gonna move along, we can discuss this a little bit later about coordinating. Working group or whatever, was good, but thank you very much. I know it was for those, it was a perfect storm, there was an emergency meeting for Christina Johnson, and we had others who, you know, again, but otherwise they would have had a very robust conversation. So with that,
The first time that did last one.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Jess, Jose. All right, we'll now move on to presentations and discussion. This is the review of the draft agenda for full board. If you take a look, we have a special presentation from NYC Votes Initiative, Daniel Garcia McGuire. We had met before a while back. We were there at the Three Kings Day event. They are really trying to motivate people to get out of votes. It's very important for us to engage. They're going to come and give a presentation to full board and educate people on the benefits of, you know, when you donate, for example, to a campaign, the matching funds provided to the city on an 8-to-1 ratio. They're going to explain that if you want to change parties, that it has to be done by Valentine's Day, or else you are locked out of everything from petitioning to even voting in the primary. That's something that other groups have wanted to see changed over the course of time, but they're going to be able to draw everything out in crayon, make it very simple, consumable, and it's an opportunity to ask questions for us to get engaged. So thank you, school. Next, we'll have, you know, our normal standing reports on Eco Dev.
I'm
anything-
sorry, I had my hand up. Quick question, when is that?
Full board next week.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Be there, be square, Steph.
I've already
Yeah.
gotten yelled at by Rosa and Jessica. I will be there. I am here, I promise.
Not literally.
Okay, good. So anything to really hit on the highlight reel, with, Eco Dev, Jose? And then, no? Okay, good. Housing, just. Okay, good. License and permits, Emery, you just had these, whole bunch here. Yeah. But you had a really productive meeting, correct?
We did.
Excellent, excellent. You will see on our business tonight, and item C, just to call it out. And thank you, Angel, for running this. We have, one of the items, they thought they were missing one of the documents, and turned out they had it, so that's why it's on our agenda tonight, so everything's in order there. Okay, environment, open space and parks, Rosa, just to highlight this one motion, anything else that you want to bring before full board? Yes,
Oh, sorry, yes, can I?
yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes, we decided on the date and time of the Earth Day. And it will be be at El Museo del Barrio on April 22nd. And we've decided, from 9 to 10, it's gonna be setting up, and then from 10 to 2. That's it.
Wonderful.
Did the Museum of the City of New York not get back to you on the date?
Oh, no, we wanted to like change.
Yeah, and they didn't want to do it.
No, no,
Change
we
museum.
wanted to change
Oh, okay.
location,
Oh,
like,
so it's a-
rotate,
okay.
rotate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, engineering service Isaac is not here, but I think their meeting was pretty standard. Youth and education had a motion.
Just wanted to, on the schools, I had to come in and visit us, which was awesome. And they were requesting, the bathrooms at 171, anyone who has been in that knows that those bathrooms are absolutely horrible. And so they need the buildings, they need the bathrooms redone, they were requesting the backboards because they host a lot of basketball conferences there and technology upgrades. Just youth and education, just a little update, like, we're really, I'm really looking forward to, I kind of tabled it this month, however, we really are looking forward to doing a social media style event, and Russell, since Russell's here, I'm gonna shout out Russell for the idea of the intersectionality between generations, so I am looking forward to working with you on that, to bring that vision to life, and just, I think just it'll be a good way to get kids in the space to talk, and also maybe do like an art project out of it. I don't really have a set date on that, to be honest. I want to make sure that before I put anything out there, I want the committee to have time to like speak on it and stuff like that. So hopefully, I want it to be done this year. However, if we got to push it to next year, it's fine. So. Okay.
Thank you. Public safety and transportation, you're having a meeting, so.
Yes, but at the meeting that we did have, there was a long drawn out discussion on Third Avenue, the changes that the DOT wants to do. And we were inundated with a lot of individuals that came because of their want of bike lanes. And then we found out that even though they said that they lived in the area, some of the things that were happening weren't even in the state.
Those are bikes, bike associated group.
Oh, it's
Well,
like a
in,
ride
on
out?
Third Avenue, the DOT wants to, extend what's below 96th Street with the bus lane on one side and the
Bike line.
bike lane on the other side, right past all the angled parking where you have the, FDNY, NYPD. And so all of that, everything would be changed, so 5 lanes would go down to 3 lanes. And there's a lot of congestion as it is, and so we were discussing this, but there were a lot of people that came from our neighborhood, but we're discussing things that were not necessarily in our.
Okay.
Sounds circles.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, with that, we'll move along, distributed budget.
Nothing to report. Oh, other than for you all that, we've designated little groups of policy areas, so each member of the committee, it has, at least one, but sometimes 3 different groups that they're sitting on to rewrite the narrative. And in doing so, if they don't already sit on your committee, they'll probably be reaching out to like confirm, what your goals are and what, you're looking forward to budget requests next year and general consensus of how we want to frame the policy area in the narrative.
Passion.
The possible to have like a summary of the student group, just in case, like, I know I can contact them.
David, for example, is going to be better. Yeah.
Makes
Side of
sense.
time. Wonderful.
I'll CC you all later.
Great. Next is executive, we have the ratification of the motion we put last month with, so East 125th Street bid. And that will be there, and then the document which we're voting on tonight. Yes,
Where's the thing about the process for just
just leave the lines, is the letter, the draft letter Angel had sent to me, to Rosa, and to Jess, and regrettably, it went into my archive folder instead of my inbox, and I'm just not following up. So that's an issue, and so either we'll have to push that to February, correct?
So
Because
we'll
things-
go out tomorrow and try to get exact with the due process hearing.
I'm not like trying to rush taking anyone out, I just was curious.
Yeah, just explaining it. Yeah, so it's after you do that initial vote, then the next exact meeting is where you have to do process hearing. So it would have been tonight, but because of the, thing they were explained, we'll do it next month. And then after the exec makes its decision, that whatever decision that is, at whatever point, then that's ratified. The following full court.
Okay, so full board doesn't have to ratify a starting process, right?
No,
Right.
no,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes, Roseanne.
Yes, I had a question. We voted on having the 5 people that had attendance issues to join today's meeting in person. Just
We need to invite them, so we can kind of keep that up, so we
okay.
can give an explanation, they're otherwise they're on the block. For
And,
voting. Yes.
and, sorry, I should have.
And
And when we go through the new business for this, we could vote to bring more people also, right? There's
We can.
definitely people who have crossed.
Yes, we can, so we can bring that up in new business and discuss, yes, Roseanne.
Thank you.
What about the person that we voted to remove?
No, that's what we're just talking about, so nothing.
They
Next
will come and have their hearing. in
Next month.
executive.
So they also have to come.
Next month.
Yes, correct, everyone will come next month.
Oh, so it'll be like 6 people next month.
Mike,
We will go into executive session and we will.
I will be here for a minute.
So, thank you. All right. So that is the agenda. Next, we will move along to discussion on committee chair roles and responsibilities. How many of you are familiar with the document? I should see all the hands. All right, so there are a couple things I want to highlight real quick. We kicked off the year, really, it's very helpful to the staff, it's helpful to our membership and how we conduct our business, also to, for posterity's sake, that when we have communication and we are actually activating, that we keep everyone looped in, keeping your vice chair looped in. And the roles and responsibility, it is also important for you to keep Jess and myself as chair, vice chair looped in. There have been a series of emails that have gone back and forth, planning things or discussing policy or communicating with agencies and individuals that are coming forward that we weren't informed on. And then when we're out there at events and they're saying, oh, didn't you know? We're caught flat-footed, not knowing what's happening when the conversations are being had. Again, it's important that it's a simple CC. We're both busy, I take the subway a lot, Jess will be on the bus a lot. And we will sometimes just catch up on our calls in the morning, so that's when we have our time to catch up on emails, when we're traveling. So we'll read it, if we have something to say, we'll say. As I explain to people, our expectations going forward is not just to happen. I'm a phone guy, I don't have time to write a lot of emails, so I will call up if it's urgent. It's much easier for me to do that when I'm taking my kids to school or picking them up or going to a meeting. So it's about the way we can work best together. So but just please keep us informed. So again, and also to your vice chairs, and the vice chairs in the past have been looped out, looping them back in. So that's something that I want to raise and make sure that we're being very diligent about that. The other thing too, here, communicating with your liaison, try to be as responsive as possible, the 24-hour turnaround. It's got the timeline. We understand if life happens to communication, so just making sure that people are being effective in that, so we're getting the agendas out. Agenda planning, this is another big thing. We, as I said in December, and I'm just going to say again here, we're hitting the budget season and the legislative session. This is at the state level and then also to the budget level here in the city. We will have entities, say, for example, Puerto Rican Health, which will come ask for a letter of support of something we've historically supported. That 2-month runway, we've been supportive of a lot of these issues. I may call up and say, hey, I get a hold of you, I need this to be voted on, or youth education item might come up. That's something we've been supportive on. It's been in our statement of district needs, or we've supported in the past. Simple, and I'll try to give you much advanced warning. But again, make sure you get it on your agenda. If I can't get a hold of you, I will call your liaison and just say, hey, we need to prioritize this. Give me a bell back if you have any. Questions? Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, a little comment to that. I know there's such thing as like we have historically supported it. I get that. If it's as recent as like, maybe 5, 10 years ago, then yeah, I get it. But something like 20 years ago, stuff changes. Like, I mean, like, I think maybe, sorry, that might be me being a little nitpicky. But I hear this a lot, that it's like, we have supported this in the past, however, things change. It's like, I don't think that we should necessarily have to say yes to something just because it was something in the past that we have said yes to. And that could be a little bit dangerous.
Your point's
Like I meant
taken. Yeah, your point's taken, Ash, right? This is within reason.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not, we're going back to like, yeah, no, it's quite all right. It's a good question to clarify. But it's something that we look at some of our requests with NYCHA. Or we have 5 years in a row, 7 years been asking for certain budgetary requests. There's nothing that precludes us for highlighting that, but it's again, being responsive because there are timelines. Case in point, we've had Representative Esbiat with grants they put out there. I talked to Shauna. I had a witness listening to me actually say, Shauna, that, hey, we need to make sure they come to us first if they want a letter of support. So I think this is very, very important. Again, it's us being nimble and responsive and going forward. Hold on, so I say I'm gonna get to you. Jose?
First, I just say, Ash was on the rampage tonight. I love it. Love it. But I do agree. I like it goes to committee. I don't mind at all the reminder. Whatever we discuss, whether it's yea or nay. Because I do want to prevent all of this happening, what happened last year, where it's like, particularly with the Spayat stuff, where people are coming to executive, they shouldn't be coming to executive. Okay, these are programs that happen every, I can't say the word, year. But for many, many years, they gotta be responsible.
Yeah.
Because otherwise this year, I'm gonna be all for voting against everything. Even as good as the program is. They should be responsible. They should know when this stuff is up. They should not be coming to executive. These executive meetings should be, if it even happens monthly, which I'm against, I like quarterly. You know, but yeah, some of us are like doing double duty with other committees for the transitioning period. And then executives every month, and now you're like, last month I had like 3 days in a row executive, it was full board, and then we had public, and I was like, what am I doing? It's like a Not full-time job. getting That's,
So
yeah,
I'll go to,
we're in the same boat.
I'll go to Jess and then after on this.
I just was gonna talk about district needs generally, so if you wanna go first.
Just when I was reading the document, and this might be me being a little nitpicky and stuff like that. But I'm still a little bit upset about the whole attendance thing. Nowhere in here do I see that we have to be chasing people to come to meetings. And that has been something that has been brought up multiple times.
I'm not doing.
I sent a little courtesy email, I'm gonna say straight up, I sent a courtesy email, but that's gonna be the last courtesy email I send people. I don't think that we have to, sorry, I don't think, and nowhere in here, says that I have to go chasing full-grown adults to come to a meeting. I think we're being a little bit too nice and stuff, and if you want for us to do all of this that's on this list, we can't be focusing on little things like that. Sorry.
Here.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I hear you. And again, when it comes to communication, everyone wants to, and we'll get to this in the attendance issue. So I think it's important. There are certain staff and chair responsibilities that are unspoken. There are unspoken responsibilities that I will say is that, that are about building relationships and making sure members show up. There are people who, I can tell you in the past, whose emails, they weren't getting the emails, they were going to junk. But again, the benefit of the doubt, if we're gonna be strict and hardcore with how we execute everything, I do believe in showing a certain degree of grace up until a point. Up until a point. And then once they've had their warning shot across the bow, that's when typically appointment triggers. But again, I hear your point, it's taken. I just think it's important that we give people an opportunity, and that's why the recommendation. It's also a good way to build relationships with your fellow members as well. So again, but thank you. Adem, then Rosa.
You could go first.
Yeah, I know, you wanted to talk district.
Yeah, that one happens, yeah.
Rosa, you could go, then I'll go.
Okay, so one, I want to say thank you because it was you that actually highlighted that schools have to come to, you know, to the using location first in order to get the letter to board, and they will go to full board, then they will get approved, and then they will get the letter in order to get any other grant from any elected officials. Thank you for that. And I actually did, I don't have, all my committee members, thank goodness, are great, awesome. There were only three that had missed two of, the committee members, committee meetings, my goodness. But I did had a conversation with them on the side, so the email was just a reminder, you know, as a courtesy reminder, yes, I did speak to you, you know, but just, you know, make it, because otherwise it's gonna be third time, you know. That's all I want to say.
What,
You wanna, you
yeah.
could go and then I'll go.
I get that it's unspoken. However, at a certain point in the real world, let's be for real, we're in the real world. Where people are walking out in the middle of meetings without saying anything, because they know that it's okay. Without like any, like not even like saying that there's something, I'm not saying that I don't wanna show grace to people. But it's people who every single month either are showing up. And I'm only gonna talk for myself, cause I ain't gonna pretend like I know what goes on in everyone else's meetings. Coming in late to the point where they're coming in right before we're about to have to call the meeting. People walking out when we're in the middle of voting for something. Every single month, and it's a problem. Walking out, not even saying a courtesy as a, not even like a bye or I have to go, nothing. Nothing. And that's a problem. That's incredibly disrespectful. These are grown people. And we can't be treated, I don't even treat the kindergartners I work with like that. I don't. They know if they didn't get up, you ask.
Yeah.
It's incredibly disrespectful, and I get that it's unspoken, but we're outlining what you're expecting us to do. And I think it needs to be written in, if that's what you want for us to do, if that's what, for the bylaws and everything, that's, and this isn't towards you in particular, it's just, it needs to be written out, because there's too many nuances, too many up for interpretation.
Thank you. Duly noted. Go ahead.
All right, first off, like Rosa, I inherited a committee that was not even having meetings and it's been, yeah, so it's been good since, but I do see the attendance issues, and I'm gonna second what Asher said. In a way, we're talking to the right group of people, but I think we're also talking to the wrong group of people. The chasm between us here, and I'm just gonna say it, and a lot of the other members is so wide. Like, I understand that we wanna be chairs and this and that, and we wanna, and there's more that comes with that. But you know, it's hard to sit in this room where people are super dedicated and tell them they gotta chase down people that they might not even know what they look like. And so, I mean, I'm never gonna do that, to be honest. I lead with enthusiasm and I hope they get that message when they're at the meeting. But, you know, I don't expect anyone to call me, so, you know. Just.
Well, I want to say thank you again to everyone here who showed up on time. It's very much about leading by example. Again, I know what it's like to have to call, and when I've gotten texts from chairs on committees saying this person's not here or whatnot, you know, when I'm literally representing the board at another event, I get it. So I understand. So have a further discussion if we want to codify that. Please, you know, again, it was a nice way to be able to check in with your members to see if they're well. We missed 2 meetings. And if by the 3rd, or email from Rosa, by number 4, it's an email from myself and Jess. And then it's like, we're on a track. I'll get to you in just a moment, Steph. Thank you. Nilsa and then Steph.
We all know that this attendance issue has gone through chairs and over and over and over. And I remember when I was a chair, the executive committee would be very angry, the same discussions because of our members not being here, and I understand the frustration, Asher, I do. But I think that somewhere along the line, I don't need a reminder for meetings. I don't. I run 4 programs for the city, and I'm tackling some new project. If you have joined the community board, I think there comes a time when we have to stop saying, we can keep adding onto the chair duties do this, Paul, do this and that. But if there's no kind of, I don't want to use the word penalty because that's not the word I'm trying to say, but if there's, thank you, consequence, accountability. Listen, when you first do it, listen, the most you're gonna be after 2 meetings, maybe four is too much. Maybe it's after you miss 2 meetings, you have to justify why you want to stay on that committee. Because that's not fair to anyone when you're not, you're not making formal. You know what I'm talking about, Xavier, because you've been, and Jessica, you guys have been in the trenches. So I just think that people don't understand the responsibility of a community board. They think it's just another membership on a group, that they don't have to come in or they don't have to be accountable to others. Because we are making it too democratic in a way, and that's not a good word to use now based on our new change in government. But what I mean by that is, I don't have time. If it was me, right? I will call you the first time. After a while, I think that you should plan that you have a meeting in your phone, right? You have these apps. And you should have a reminder, and you should know 24 hours ahead if you can't be there. Let someone know. If you're gonna leave your meeting early, announce that, give that chair that heads up before you even come to the meeting. Like, where are the standards for the board members that have the attendance issues that should be adopted for everyone? It's just a suggestion because I know that frustration.
No, I think we all share that, which is why there's a lot of passion. We're presenting different options for here. I appreciate that, Steph, and then I'll put this along. To you. Yes, because I wanted to.
As a member who has issues attending in the last year and a half, I don't know, I just maybe want to put it up there. Maybe we want to think about having Zoom meetings for just committee meetings and full board, we meet together. I know this was a rule that we created. Maybe this is something we may want to look at again. I see other community boards who have done this and it's worked for them. I don't know I think the numbers were better when people were coming through Zoom. Also, it was during COVID and no one had nothing else to do, so that could be it too. It's just an idea. For me, doing it through Zoom, it's just easier for me. So I just want to put that out there.
Yes, Steph, thank you. We are locked in by the law on this one. So unless the governor executes an emergency order, only those with qualifying disabilities can go in hybrid. So that's. Brad,
I'm sorry, is that the case? Because other community boards do have committee meetings through Zoom, not just for qualified.
Yeah, they're not, unless they all have qualifying disabilities, they shouldn't be doing that. And that is also per the NBTO's office too.
And this is across the board, all borough wide, right? Because I'm talking
Yeah.
about a different borough, so it might be a different borough board president that has, you're talking borough wide.
It's supposed to be statewide, it's a state law, so. Yeah,
Alright.
so they are, so the only thing they can get around is if they're having those meetings. Any position they take may not be legal, and then their executive committee is just taking and adopting it for on their position on their behalf. That would be the only other way.
Unless they're all this qualified.
Yeah,
right.
so, but I'd be interested to know what for, if you can provide that information, it'll be helpful. Okay, yeah. You said it, Jess, do you mind, you wanna just, Russ is here, do you want to talk about the attendance thing? Or just because I'm gonna move to district meetings? Is that okay? Do you mind, Jess? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm suggesting that all community boards get the borough president and the council person that assigns it. We should have a relationship with those who are appointed as part of their interview process. The demand for the requirements that community board elected represent attendance, so they'll know when I found a candidate trying to join the board. I gotta meet with the borough president's representative or the council person representative. They should be recommending on for this board, these are required. And all the protocol that we want, we're getting at school, we get, if we in high school, we get the middle school, it's not in Canada. I'll let you, one suggest that we can, for our have a relationship with the people who are selected to go
Jess has been very patient. I'd like to move the agenda along, if that's okay. Yes.
Okay.
This just remains. then then we'll open it back up.
Well, I was also gonna comment on that, so
Okay, well,
I don't know, if you have really good thing to say.
Just do
I
them
was
both.
just saying, I was gonna yield back off of what Russell said, that I was asked, what times did you have available, what length of times, and it could run till 12 o'clock, any time. So if you're available, yay, if you're not available, then see something else. Ben Kaler and.
to meet with the council member or the, or the.
Yes, I was specifically asked that.
And just really quick, thank you for waiting for me, but to Russell's point, I know there's an opportunity for like board leadership to comment on like existing board members and like their attendance and like what they've, you know, contributed to the board and if it's worth them staying on, or I don't know if we've had that meeting already with the borough president's office.
No, we don't have that.
Okay, and then, yeah, so I think that's a great opportunity for us to say like, you know, X and Y haven't shown up for 6 meetings, this person never showed up at all. And, you know, this person shows up and doesn't contribute or leaves earlier or whatever, and that's a really great way to make sure that we have like continuing members that are, you know, wanna be here, yeah. And then to the point about the chasing the members for attendance, I do think that the people in this room are, as Adem said, the most committed, doing most of the work. And my fear is that we're just continuing to pile on things to the people who are doing most of the work. And that, you know, there is that chasm between the members. So I think we just need to think about like, how do we reach those people? You know, I don't know, but with the district needs stuff, I just wanted to let y'all know that Angel and I have been working on like the work plan, I'm just updating it, so the thought is that similar to like the action item you brought up where, you know, y'all are talking about a bathroom, you have a physical letter of support for a future budget request item. Ideally, that's the goal. Like every budget request item on the future budget requests for next year is something that has been supported via a letter of support or resolution or some sort of action item from the committee. So hopefully we can start thinking about that, like, now we know we're gonna put this request on the budget, like, super easy, right? And then like, hopefully it's just like this virtuous cycle of, you know, the district needs committee is thinking about what's really important to the community board and working with the chairs to understand like what sort of things that they're working on, and we can make sure that the things that aren't covered are covered in committee action and vice versa. So I think it'll be really good for promoting just the general cohesiveness, sustainability overall of our work moving forward year to year. And I'm just really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so with the budget process, I think that would dovetail well if you look at, I'm gonna recognize the original model, which we generated, was to have all the vice chairs, and that was untenable because of the regrettable turnover with over the past pandemic. So we had a lot of turnover, so in training of people, so we consolidated with members on there who have overlap. So yes, that'll be a good opportunity as we prepare our response. Yes, actually.
We're also, like for youth and education, like we look to like outside entities, like the CEC and stuff like that, like we're trying to get those resolutions and vote on them. Because they've done resolutions about, and Rosa can correct me if I'm wrong, the CEC, they voted on certain budget requests within the schools and stuff like that, so I'm trying to get copies of those and to keep that relationship, because we've seen in the past when we worked with Dr. Christie and like push both of those things for both ends, it's more likely to get done. So I'd suggest, I don't know if there really is for other committees, like outside entities like that, but you should probably check with them and try to pair up, because if the city sees it coming from 2 separate places, that's more likely that, yeah.
Yeah, I think part of the work plan revisiting is just layering in those sort of cross checks with the city agencies and any other organizations, so that, like you said, it's easier for a budget request item to be approved if it's agreed upon across parties. We've seen in Parks that it's easier to get a Parks approval approved if Parks is also in alignment with us on that. So there, you know, hopefully are at least 2 checkpoints with city agencies to say like, hey, you know, here's where we are at, like, do you agree, and vice versa.
Thank you. Yes, Angel.
I have something else. I have something else to add on the district needs stuff.
Okay, in relation, okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so today, this afternoon, I circulated to all the board members, the information on the preliminary budget, including the register of budget request. I wanted to note and encourage you guys, to read that the responses this cycle are very different than they have been in the past. So I don't know what message got to him, but I think it's something that we should, be appreciating that they're actually responding directly to the requests. And providing detail and advice on the certificate requests, right? So they're saying, we can support it, but we don't have the money, and this is why, and here's a pointer on who you may want to speak to and how you may want to rephrase it. And they provide that for every single request.
That's good.
So I want to encourage members to look at that so that we're not getting, responses in the summer or in the fall of like, picking stuff out of thin air, but we actually have some robust answers. That's not to say that every answer you're gonna find agreeable, but I think that we have a full answer. I think that's an improvement.
Do you think we're returning to more of that Bloomberg model where like, we disagree, or are you saying this is a more communicative process?
It's a lot clearer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not wonderful. Great, thank you.
it's like specific.
Very, okay, great, wonderful, thank you. So again, concluding, the last thing I want to bring up, with the committee chair's roles and responsibilities. I like to have you guys out there in the public and taking on public interest and works. And that includes people, and groups and entities that we may not necessarily agree with, may not agree with positions of the board, we personally may not agree with. We have to engage those people because they are a part of the community. And for us, we're supposed to be a neutral entity that is advocating for what the will of the people is. So I encourage everyone to get involved if you're having difficulties, if you feel worried about engaging those conversations. Let me know. That's what myself and Jess are here to do, is to be able to open those doors, make those introductions so that dialogue can begin. And I will say, just having been on the receiving end of some very sharp-nosed individuals who basically think the community board can wave the magic wand, I've had to edify them. That's not the case, and we will elevate the issue. I encourage everyone to get out there into the field and have those difficult conversations. Yes.
But I think also it needs to be, once again, like all the work will end up on us. I think that we as chairs of committees should start pushing people a little bit more within our committees to go out. Because a lot of us, I'm pretty sure almost everyone in here has a full-time job, so it's like, and a lot of this stuff is in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't expect for just the chair to be the only one to go out and do.
You're all right. Like I said at the beginning of September, my expectation is that at least ideally once or twice in the term, go hit an event, your members. Sounds like, hey, I'm going to this event, or hey, are you available? I'd be pleased if we get every quarter someone going to an event. We have on a weekend, the night stores, for example, that's an opportunity for us to only go out. When we had the park stores with Jess and the parks team, we were going out. Did I make all of them? No, but I made as many as I could, and it was edifying. And I was indoctrinated by the House of Francis. So I think that's important to keep in mind, that we plug in. So again, as you're having your meetings, and you have an event come up, you say, so-and-so, would you please show up to this, or who's available? Even if you have to volunteer. So that's something I would recommend. Sure, if again, you have difficulty with people not showing up, let me know that too, so we can help. So those were the main issues I wanted to address. And if you have any questions, recommendations down the road, please let me know. And yes.
Is there a way of asking, like, saying, we have some questions that we would like the people who are interviewing the new CB11 people that will be coming on? Thanks. Here are 2 questions from CB11. How would you answer that?
Send 5 green please to present that to both community and Eric.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you if you remembered, there was one year, many years ago, where actually community board members, like the chair or someone designated, participated in doing a forum with the applicants, like that information session, where people came in and there were questions that were posed to, like at the panel, to talk about the expectations of the board, and that was prior to the interviews done by the Manhattan Borough President.
So information that was held here in this
So,
office.
no, at the Manhattan Borough President's
Yeah,
office, where
yeah.
they got different boards together, they asked, right, I remember Gail, asked me, because I was part of that, I think also at one point, Diane Collier might have been asked, where you had actual representation from the board, and there were questions posed, not only by the potential applicants, but that you gave a synopsis of your expectation for a board member, and that might be something that you could suggest so that you can be part of that process for the informational session, so people know what the expectations actually are.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I do know that, since Mark has been VP, a lot of those, and because of the pandemic, we found ourselves in different territory. And they still do a lot of the online training. So I'll bring that up to both of you and guesses.
I think just to build off of that, I think ideally applicants are showing up to our meetings before applying. So that they know what we're doing, and maybe there's an opportunity, like if we see someone in a committee meeting, which I haven't seen in any of mine, but that we can, give them some. If they want to touch base, we can, but maybe we can at full board, just like, is anyone here, that's, potentially applying to be a community board member, we'd love to chat with you, blah, blah, blah.
Or maybe, and I'm sorry. You're
Are
a
we talking about
producer,
attendance already,
so
or?
you can do a short video that you can put on the website. If you're interested in being a community board member, this is our expectations. And you can, you're very well set, open, and, a few people can speak, it could be a 10-minute thing. You post it, it's a marketing thing. Of course, the Manhattan Borough President will steal it and add it to his stuff. And it'll be all good, and people will know the expectations.
I won't be in.
Yeah, right.
What I could do, one of the things I was going to add in was in the newsletter. Was one reminding people when they apply for the grants with the electeds that they need to get to us first. Here's our calendar. And the second thing I can add in is the board applications are open and our expectations. You've shown up for 1 or 2 meetings, even if you just want to be a public member. So thank you very much. I can, that's the recommendation. Okay. All right, I'm ready to move. Yes.
Didn't you get that out there at a time?
Not now.
Oh, the time.
Back then.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay. Thank you. That's helpful. With that, I'm gonna move our agenda along to to letter C, DNA Diner Corp. Food businesses. Octagonal Diner. It's a renewal application, one here in Cider, license from 346931 for restaurant located in place
Yeah.
2162 Second Avenue.
Yeah.
It's at cross street of 111th. And just for the record, all materials were delivered, Angel?
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will entertain.
Motion to approve.
Adam. What's? Hold your horses. No.
Third by
Second, Rosa. So first, a motion by Adam to approve, second by Rosa. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Old business, there's no old business, on to new business. On the stretch. Just kidding. Attendance. Okay,
It's in old
so,
business?
yeah,
Should be old business.
well, we can, let's move it into old business, and there'll be no new business. Thank you.
Yes.
6-1, have it other. Okay, attendance. Yes. I know we addressed some of this in the chair roles and responsibilities, so Rosa, please go down. Yes.
I just wanted to say, when we're gonna be naming names, are we going to go into second?
No,
No, we do not.
We didn't have to-
It's not
we don't have-
personal, professional, or any of that. We're just
I'm not-
disclosing what facts.
All righty then.
Yes, but thank you. It's a good question to clarify.
let's get.
And the one.
Yeah. Just a moment. Yes, what's that?
Could we have that report at our full board? We used to do that, so you don't have to keep a secret little, I think we should change them. Put that report into the full agenda that we receive everything and put it on. We used to do that all the time. It was part of it.
So
And
it's-
every month, that way no one can ever say, I didn't know. No, every month it is public, it is there. Give the full report, whatever you have, put it in the full board.
If someone Googles someone's name, guess what'll come up?
Yeah.
So then let's,
And then
I'm
let's
not
continue.
opposed to that as being part of the secretary's report. As part of the secretary's report, it can be in there. I would like to go through, yes, late arrivals, early departure, just those that have hit the threshold. Or
Or on Jeopardy.
Okay.
Let's go.
we'll start with Jose Altamirano.
That's the cross off.
Public safety, absent in September. Youth and education, absent in September.
I'm not on that committee.
Are you sure?
Should we, let's only do the ones that are really.
The chair, you would know.
He's definitely-
I had a double check.
You're gonna.
I'm
you're
not
gonna-
on I'm on Echo, the
He's on eco.
public safety.
It's gonna be
The points off, or some negative points.
Good that we-
I'll pull up the list. Wait.
It's right here.
And I'm like, I've never been on investigation.
You are now.
Actually, I'm sorry. Now I know.
No, he is not on youth and education. Public safety and eco dev, go ahead.
All right, keep going.
That must be equal then. Okay, so, Stephanie Arroyo.
Wait, but can we just, because that means I'm not in the threshold. Can we tell us who's on the threshold?
Oh, that's what I wanted to.
No, which threshold or over?
We just need to know.
No,
who
threshold.
Today, who is on the threshold,
Yeah.
miss 3, and if they miss a 4, we
Or
have to take a position.
if they miss it.
What about missing 2? On-
We don't need to cover that.
Let's do 3 and more.
It's 3, and then we'll,
Okay, so
Oh, second, where,
in one committee, I have, Carlos Diaz, that was excused for October, absent for November, and absent for January,
which committee?
public safety.
He was excused for the CAP, for public safety.
Oh, yeah.
So that doesn't count.
So he's just at 2.
We got 2.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have, Judy Febraro, excused September, excused October, and absent in November.
For what committee?
Bring her in.
District needs, apologies. And I have Christina Johnson, I have, for youth and education, absent in September.
Christina's not on.
Stanley Johnson is on, youth and education.
Okay, Stanley Johnson, absent in September, excused in October. And November, absent, excused in December.
That's 4.
I have the list open right now for Stanley Johnson. He was absent in September.
Right,
He was excused in October.
right.
November, he was present. December, he was absent. It says for January late arrival, however, he did leave early. So I think that needs to be changed
Oh,
if possible. And yeah,
Angel, would you,
For January?
yeah, he left.
should put it
He
this.
left.
Can we put it in?
Angel, would you just,
No, I was working with, okay.
No,
Guy with the red?
no, I swear he left in the middle of us taking attendance.
We have to like describe him by what color shirt they were.
Angel, would you be so kind as to put up on the screen the attendance sheet so we all can see the same?
I don't think that can.
He left in the middle.
This will make it better.
Awesome. We're just gonna put this up,
I'll look
so.
at me.
I think it might be easier if we just go with the spreadsheet.
I agree.
That's what I've asked them to pull out.
Talk amongst yourself.
All right.
So,
Can't handle the brush.
Dun, 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 dun.
Unless it's.
I meant you something.
Maybe it should.
Missed what meeting last
I'll
night.
keep her in this.
Ah.
Well, we're waiting for them to come up.
Oh, she got the. That's why these people.
There's late arrivals where you're like 5 minutes late and you're like rushing in the door, and then there's.
Let me
late
know.
arrival where a person
I need to
comes
send
in
an email. Okay.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, there is.
People do it like a full board.
if people have missed the majority of the meeting, then they're considered absent. What's the findings? All right, let's go through this. This is full board, right?
That's good.
Angel, this is full board we have in front of us, correct? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so you want like just the people that are the worst actors?
What's QD mean?
Qualifying disability. So those that are 3 or more.
Right, so I'll go at the end here in the totals. So 3, Jocelyn Cruz,
Jocelyn Cruz resigned.
Judith Ferraro. Has 3 for full board. Stanley Johnson has 3 for full board. And then what was up, she's off. Alida Chickumbo has 3 for full board. Justina Williams is 4. That's 4.
Okay, let's go by committee, please.
Okay. District needs. District needs just has the 1, Judith Barrow.
And
Oh,
Dawn.
no, sorry, yeah, Dawn Sanders.
Well, what about the one that was canceled and the one's in the court? How are
Only
we?
5 plus at a time.
If it's canceled, it doesn't go into.
Yeah, no one gets.
What was the question? It says canceled right there.
Doesn't go into.
So that doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
But no quorum, everybody else showed up and those people were absent.
Okay, next committee.
Jenny Tromsky is a public member, has 4. That's it.
Okay, next committee.
Who's 4,
Who's Jocelyn Cruz?
She resigned and
Okay.
Stanley Johnson.
Stanley, yes.
And I think that's it.
Who's Stanley Johnson? That's the question.
next committee, please.
So, if it matters, there's 3 missed meetings, a late, and then a late early part.
So he was late and he left early?
Yeah,
Does that even count as being president?
That's a double.
No.
Yeah, that's like a double whammy.
So it was really good.
Look at us, the stars.
That used to be me up there all the
Hey,
time.
we're all good.
Next.
Housing is good so far.
I turned that shit around. We canceled because of election day. I didn't think anyone was coming.
Election day.
It was like right around then.
Thank you. Next, human services. That's good.
But
Services is good. It's time use. It's good.
Yeah, what's left, right?
no, she has it right.
So Justina Williams has 5.
Committee?
Otherwise, it's good.
isn't 5 everything?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty near the last. But unfortunately, so that's it.
Public safety.
Charlie.
Carlos has
But he
3.
doesn't because he had.
No, he was.
He's really at 2.
If you would let me. yeah. Like Xavier said, he had 1 excuse on board business. So, Claudia Perez has 3, and Valerie Ponte has 3.
Okay, could you scroll back, Angel? please?
Sure.
Okay, for the one who was,
It's just regular excuse, not excuse business.
no, it is, yeah, it should be excused with the asterisk for Carlos, because
This is not important.
okay, so you have like a little notation drawn out. Okay. That's for January, because January he was at the finals. That's what happened in January?
And he should be excused for January as well.
Yeah, we should be.
It's the same thing.
January, he was excused as well.
Yeah, he was at the cap.
Yeah.
With Joel.
And with Jill Jones.
And I think it's just confusing when you go all the way to the right. There's the column for excused business and it was showing up as excused not.
That's okay, I'll update.
Okay.
Like he should. No. there.
Business.
If this could be told to folks before attendance is taken, that would help. Invite folks on the staff.
But staff you need to.
Yeah.
And my enemy means
Oh,
Marlene.
look at all those rats. Yeah.
No wonder you're so angry. I get it.
Thank you.
I'd be raging.
Where's it?
Stanley Johnson has 3.
Man, there's Stanleys everywhere.
Elijah Chickambo has 5, Justinia Williams has 5.
Who's this Justina?
I think she went
And we
to
removed her?
college or
So
something.
why didn't we have her here? Why didn't we
I
do this?
explained at the
It
beginning.
was explained
I
already.
missed it.
The email was in the archives.
All right, thank
Oh.
you. Now, Asher, you wanted to make a comment.
All right, I have a couple of comments. Sorry. I'm on a roll.
Only a couple?
This has truly been like freaking me out a little bit, for lack of
Go
a better
ahead,
term.
Asher.
Alita, I'm not trying to call individual people out, however, I just need to give examples. Alita has shown up to human services, but has not shown up to youth education at all. Stanley has shown up to more of the parks committees, and he has been there. However, he literally left when the kids were talking during youth and education. We had kids talking and he walked out, he left in the middle of it. No, he
Fair
didn't.
enough.
He sat down and
He
then
did?
after the presentation, he left.
All right, either way, he's coming in late and he's leaving early. That's a problem. That's a problem. I have people coming in late, and this isn't like a 5-minute late that you're seeing on there. I have people coming in at 6:50, where we're just barely getting quorum. That's a problem. Seriously, because it's people are able to cancel meetings because they know beforehand. I truly don't know who I have beforehand, because I could call people, I could send out emails and people aren't answering. It's a problem. And I'm trying to tell people, I'm trying to get schools to come here, but who's gonna take us seriously? If I don't have people coming in, or if people are walking in late, like it's nothing, joking around, talking mad loud, it's a problem. It's disrespectful. I'm not gonna let people do that. Showing up to other committees and you're not showing up to mine, I'm sorry, I'm gonna feel a certain way about that, because that's incredibly disrespectful. And I don't think we should keep making excuses for people, because it's a lot of new members, but however, it's also old members also.
Anyone else want to make a comment?
What were the names that we did last time? Could I remember
The
that?
minutes, and the pull up.
We had access to remove one. I'm guessing that's Justina.
Those that we asked to come in are Stanley Johnson.
Who appointed Justina? Do we know?
Not Christina.
No, Justina.
Justina Williams.
I don't
Well, let's
know.
answer one question at a time. Who are the 5 people?
Stanley Johnson, Millie Paul, Claudia Pettis, Valerie Ponte, and Alita Chickamauga.
And why is Malik being called up when he wasn't number 3?
He was late. And I think we should bring in everyone.
Wait, but we're bringing in
He was
people who are
absent.
late now.
Wait 1 second. He was absent for October. He was absent for November in the environment open space. And also in the youth and education, if I'm correct.
I know, but we were told we weren't going across
That's the
committees.
second.
Yeah, but that doesn't trigger our protocol.
No, it
That's what we
wasn't an
decided,
No, it was not an
last-
aggregate, but that's what I had in the minutes,
Right.
so. We told it,
Was Justina there?
Justina was the one we took a position.
So removed. Yeah.
Sorry, notice.
We're gonna have.
So,
a lot more
Angel?
people in a few months. No, she hasn't
Change,
changed.
who is, have we had any others that are across that threshold that we brought in, other than the ones?
For full removal.
For explaining what's going on with why
Yeah, I'm not tracking the
the threes.
Yeah, that's.
I tried Stanley for a whole bunch of them, Justina
Those are the
Williams,
ones that I paid attention.
Alita.
So it's like those 3 people, really.
It's
I
a
have
3
question.
there.
This is me flipping out. Genuine question.
So I had Asher and then Jess, and
Okay, because I remember us having this conversation last month.
then I'll go to Steph after that.
We were saying, I remember you specifically saying, because I remember asking a clarifying question, that it's not across committees. The, I'm not trying to justify anyone or say anything. I think if 2 things. We shouldn't be bringing people in if it's across committees, because we already said that it's not, we can't do it if it's across committees. I think if we're gonna do this, we gotta do it by the book. However, at full board, the lateness needs to be addressed, and I wanna know how within our bylaws the lateness can be addressed. Because the lateness
Are we late?
also affects board.
We're on-
It also affects if we can run a meeting, not just the absences. So, yeah.
Jess?
Yeah, I think it's incredibly unfair that we bring forward Malik when he didn't show up as a four on any of the committees. I think if we go into a board with a, you know, and it's inaccurate, people are gonna lose their crap and.
Yeah.
it-
Does he have a three anywhere? Cause I think we were bringing in threes.
No.
As
that's
a-
not the reason.
He has no threes?
No.
Oh, so let's remove.
Yeah, but I think we should remove him from this list. I think we should add anybody else who has hit four. Or if you're saying it was three, then three.
Well, 4 triggers the removal
Right.
process.
Right, but three was kind of like letting them know, hey, you're about to trigger the removal process.
I mean, maybe they just get notified. It'd be like redundant to bring them in to tell them that.
Yeah, so Angel, which were the additional 4s that we've added?
It's Alita and
It's
I think her list is actually.
Well, she's, no, she is like, she still keeps copying from there, she's right.
no, because some of the committees are being mixed up on there.
That was on
She
youth
does
and
fours,
education.
right?
Yeah.
That's the fours. I'll throw all of them, fours.
Thank you.
Sorry, I can't possibly get this balance.
I will.
No one would expect.
Yes, Nelson.
I have an effective secretary, so I'm leaving it alone. Like it will pass.
We went from total incompetence to confidence.
Jenny Trumps.
I'm the one that put in that
That's a
early
public
and
member.
leaving late.
That's a public member, so I'll deal with Jen.
Yeah, they didn't exist
Go on.
before me. Cause they did that all the time. We didn't even know. 'cause we had quorum.
Jocelyn Cruz.
He's resigned.
Oh, right.
And I would do it, I would put it in here. I have it.
Yes, Nelson, your question?
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to say this and be diplomatic.
I think we can. prove-
This is getting us nowhere. I'll be honest with you. We have this discussion every month, every year, every chair, every change of chair. And we bring people in, before, we tell them, they come for 1 meeting or 2 meetings, then they're back, right? The idea I thought was that people at 3 will be brought in so that maybe not necessarily have to be brought in. Maybe it could be like a themselves where they would get an email telling them that, you know, you've been out 3 months with detail, right? Like you have, you're very detailed. Because I honestly don't see anything changing. I know that when I was chairing and prior to that, if you missed 2 or 3 committee meetings, you were with the consultation of the chair of the committee, that person was removed to find out if there was a conflict scheduled, so that then somebody else who might want to come into youth and education, and that person can't make, let's say, Tuesdays anymore, they can make Wednesdays, so now they go to environment, open space and parks, and be able to then sustain. So I don't know if that those conversations have happened, but the fact that this continually happens and we have the same discussion all the time across years and months, and we still don't, you know, we vote off the low hanging fruit, someone we don't know, someone that, you know, obviously makes it difficult to keep on, but you're gonna lose good chairs. Because what's gonna happen is I hear a lot of frustration in Asher's voice, and I even told Asher, if you need somebody else, I'm willing to figure out a way to make a meeting, this meeting, so that he has core, but it's not fair. You know, these people, somewhere along the line, at the full board, maybe this has to be out more than that, so that we discuss it less, so everyone is aware that it matters when you're late, you know, maybe 2, 3 latenesses equal 1 absence. I mean, you know I can't walk into my meetings late. I would have been canned a long time ago. So, you know.
Yeah, thank you, Nelson. And for everyone's edification, bylaws, section C for attendance, 1C or IC, absence defined. For the sole purpose of establishing a record of members' attendance for evaluation of such attendance. A member shall be considered to have been in attendance at a meeting if he or she shall have been in attendance during substantially all of the meeting. Quote, substantially all of the meeting, end quote, shall be defined as arriving within 1/2 hour of the beginning of such meeting and remaining until the final vote is taken. That's your definition there. And then I wanna go to
I'm sorry, the half hour of the meeting, can we just read that part again? Because I haven't got the Bible.
shall be defined as arriving within 1/2 hour of the beginning of such meeting.
Okay, so
Right.
what I wanna bring up is that we had discussed that after 15 minutes, if you're not here by 15 minutes, the meeting could be canceled. So maybe
You
the
don't-
bylaws, right, so maybe the bylaws need to be revised, because if everyone thinks they can come in half an hour after the meeting, certain meetings are never gonna happen, because everybody's gonna come in late, because the bylaw says so. You see what I mean?
Yes, I definitely,
Something to think
well
about.
taken. Let me go to Steph, who's been patiently with her hand up. Steph.
So I just wanna no, so thank you so much. I gotta say, as one of the people who's like at risk of being in this situation, um, I do believe that people have reached out to me to be like, hey, what's going on? But there hasn't been a conversation of like, is it your schedule? Do you see like maybe you could do something else? Are there other like committees you might wanna like be into? I heard of one person, I'm not really following because you guys, the screen, but there's one person who isn't going to one committee, but is going to another committee. So it may just be that they're not really interested in that other committee, and that might be a conversation that needs to be had with them. I don't know when it triggers for removal. I'm trying to figure that out. Is it 6 meetings in total, full board, or 3 meetings in total? Like, when does removal, when is it considered? And are we talking about committees and full boards? I'm a little
Board.
confused about that.
We'll pull it up, so the record.
It's four of any meeting, like not combined. So if you missed four, like if you're on liquor licenses, if you missed 4 licenses, that triggers you for removal. But you could miss, you could be missing, yeah, it's 4 of one committee. You could technically have missed 3 on all your committees and you're still safe.
And
Which
what
makes-
what about full board? If you miss for a full board?
Same as the committee. It's counted the same
Gotcha.
as any committee.
Got you, okay.
So, yes, Asher.
I remember when I first joined the board, I swear there was something in the bylaws. Bring out the latenesses again, that if you had 3 latenesses, it equaled an absence. Was that, I know we've redone the bylaws since am I bugging? I swear someone told me something.
That's
about
somewhere
that.
else.
That's like an urban.
I'm not against that. I'm not against it,
Yeah,
but it is,
because I think yeah,
I have my hand
Yes,
raised.
Jose.
I actually think that this executive committee has done a great job with attendance, because that has improved tremendously.
That's
If we look at last year, if we look at that from last year, when we were virtual, it was horrendous. It was horrendous. We had like a whole bunch of people come in. And now we have very few, other than Justina, who we have to kick out regardless. She's just not coming at all to anything, so just. But she only in one committee, so which means that she shouldn't, which means she shouldn't be in that committee or find something else to be in. But she attends the other committees, well,
I'm pretty
your
sure
committee,
Well, how many committees is she on? 2?
you have to be on 2 at least, a minimum. Which means
Also,
she's not attending at all for him. But the other committee, I think she is, she's not in the range at least.
But she's in the range on 1, right?
On
So
one,
we-
which is regardless, she should be
Yeah.
brought up. But I'm just saying, just want to point out that has improved,
You're right.
considering we were talking about in person. And last year, when we had this conversation, it was virtual, which really was obscene to think that people couldn't make it virtually.
believe this on the list for full board also.
Total board again,
So,
well, I mean, she's
Again.
on our list.
membership. Fee removal of members. When it comes to attendance. Members, the removal process. Members shall attend no less than 2/3 of all meetings of full board in any 12-month period, which is 4 in this case. You miss 4, it triggers. It also says that members shall attend no less than 2/3 of the total number of meetings of all committees. Of which such member is a member in any 12-month period. So it's so if Jess, for example, state the district needs a budget, has 6 meetings. Right, you have to make 2/3 of those. So if you gotta attend 4 out of those 6, you missed 3, you would also be on the chopping block.
Could I continue my question?
Yeah, your question.
When are we starting the year? Are we doing September to June?
Yes.
That's the first question.
The
I have.
12-month period, Angel, we've historically been observing since the start of the term to September through
Yeah, so
You can do whenever you want, it's any 12-month period. What you started doing the last couple of years is going by meeting session, which starts in September.
Thank you.
But if you wanted to start in another month, you can, and nothing's stopping you from doing that.
my second, right before I go, was that I do believe that anyone in 3 should get a notice. I don't think we have to bring them in, but they should get noticed.
I would be pleased, Rosa, to delegate that to you to send, them and then Jess, because them had his hand up first, and Jess.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Nelson, like, I've been on this before you, Xavier, and I second what Jose says, is it has turned around a bit, but the conversation we're having is exactly the same. And we're all here in this room right now, and I don't think any of us are going anywhere anytime soon. So even if it's an off the record, why don't we just all commit to, like, if someone's up for 4, we're gonna vote them off. Honestly, even if they come here, like, there comes a point where it's just like, you're not able to make the commitment. It doesn't, the reason almost isn't that important anymore. It's just, you can't do it right now. Come back when you can, whether you're dealing with personal issues, work issues, whatever it is. And if you do that and you don't have to even be that transparent. Like, if you have that ability, we'll consider it. You want to join as a public member, whatever, but like, why is this even happening anymore? I think we're saying all this because we know the second it's a name that we know again, we're all gonna, but if we all just kind of collectively say that we're gonna do this, then there isn't that like, oh, I don't want to be the person who voted so and so off. Like, no, that's just how this committee is gonna operate. 4, you come in, you do your process. I mean, there might be some, but no, like, that's it. It kind of defeats the purpose of having them come in, because I'm kind of saying, come in and we're just gonna tell you you're gone. Because otherwise, then it's like, how do you start doing that? Like, oh, well, they had a better story, or they talked better, or we know them better. It's such a, it's supposed to be a very black and white process, and then that makes it very gray. And that's why we're still having this conversation, because that's what happens.
I think I hear your point, Adam. When we vote, we initiate the process, and it is on this body or delegated to a subcommittee for our bylaws to listen and make a recommendation, and it gets ratified.
I just want, can I make one more point? Again, as someone who is, in the warning signs of missing 2 meetings for all my committees. We have the qualifying disability form. We have that ability, right? That, bad or worse, like, we have that ability. If people are not using that to make sure that they're coming into these meetings, if people are coming in, leaving early, not participating, like, the fact that you guys are texting me and letting me know, Steph, you're at 2, what's going on? You're scaring me. And if I don't make the moves that I need to make, everyone else should be set at the same bar. Like, there's no reason. We should, like Adem says, we should just agree. At 2, your committee chairs are letting you know. At 3, we're bringing you in and voting.
So thank you, Steph, which is why I made the recommendation, and it's the majority of chairs that, like, when they hit over 2, it's a courtesy outreach. They don't have to do it. But my recommendation, I think, is that Rosa at 3 sends that notice, you miss another, we have to initiate the due process. So you've gotten those outreaches there. And I think that is above and beyond what is dictated in our roles and responsibilities, but it's also a nice way to show cariño and care
Agreed.
and to build. Again, at the end of the day, we have to be fair. I see you over there, Russell. Just hold on a second. We have to be fair, and we have to be exacting in how we do it, and equal across the board. Jess had her hand, and then Nelson, then I'll hit Russell. And then I'd like to.
Yeah, first, I just want to, I think Stephanie, you mentioned that people have the ability to use the disability form to attend virtually.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think, we've talked about that at length, like, the disability form is not something that we can use just to attend virtually. It's truly if you have a disability form. So if anybody's using a disability form to simply attend virtually when they do not have a disability, it puts every single one of us at risk, including the staff. And it's really uncomfortable situation to be in. So, like, we've said it 1,000 times, nobody should just be filling out a disability form to attend virtually.
Not what I wanted to incline, but what I'm saying is a lot of people have said they can't make it to these meetings because they have swollen legs. They can't make it to these meetings because their child is sick, right? So there really is no reason not to be here, is my point. That's all I'm saying.
if they have a disability,
Right, if they do,
So-
but yeah.
Which we can't ask either.
Or crosstalk.
And that's
So I think-
exactly what I'm stating. People have said that they can't make it because of these reasons, right? But that doesn't put you away from being able to participate.
Great. Last year, when we went through the process, we decided of the 12-month period, if people missed 4 meetings, that was above the 2/3 threshold, no matter what. And that we issued the process. So in issuing the process, they are informed that they're being removed. And then they have the opportunity to come into this meeting to defend why they should not be removed. And that's their opportunity. And if we decide not to remove them, then great, they're not removed. But if they, don't show up or, say, you know what, it's actually time, then I think these 5 people that we talked about, that is not Malik and is also Jenny Tromsky, are, people who have missed the threshold. And it is my opinion that we should bring them in as part of the process. And then anyone who is 3 or less, if we want to bring them in, great, but we're not gonna do the due process. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. And I gotta say, I gotta piggyback off that. We had people, last time we did this process, that virtually zoomed in to make their case while we sat here. I'm not gonna name names, but like, that's why even the process is kind of bull. Yeah, so that's the problem. Like, I'm gonna come here, listen to you tell me why you haven't come to meetings
And you're not
while
here.
you're not even here.
So we have, after, because I do want to hear Russell, and I want to move the meeting along. So we spent a significant amount of time. I think we have a consensus on our. Yes.
What's it?
I think we need a plan before because I don't think, because then we're gonna keep having this conversation like Melissa said.
You know,
Also, I think, I'm not saying for Angel to resend out this email. Angel sent a very detailed email last year about what
Several
attendance rules for the bylaws. I think that you as the chair should probably resend it out. I'm not saying, because it's not the staff's job to be narking people on attendance. And I think that the email should be resent out so that way people can for the new, just so we can avoid, since we're all agreeing, what it sounds like is we're gonna start this process. Send out that email about what attendance is, that way we don't have to hear the same crap from people about what, I didn't know that the disability form this or this staff, blah, 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 blah. I think that email needs to be sent out, so that way, take as much of it off of us as we can. And stuff like that, and we need a concrete plan before we leave here.
So of those who have missed 4, it automatically triggers the process.
Okay, but we keep hearing stuff about 3 and stuff, what are we
So
doing about
the 3, I just delegated to Rosa and I asked her to send an email
Okay, just-
notifying them that there have been 3. If there are any 2s, I've asked the committee chairs, which you and Jess have already CC'd me, and you've done that part. Can I get Russell real quick, Nelson? Russell?
I just think that the process has to be put in place where people have to vote for whether they're gonna be on or not. It should be, I suggest that it's a process that 3 is, whatever the number is, unexcused absences, automatically puts that person as off the committee or board into a public member automatically, no discussion, that's where you are. They have an opportunity to, if they wanna redeem themselves, put something in place where you come to the next 3 meetings. And it puts you back on board. It's something that a process works, no voting, it goes. You miss, you're off.
So
Can these people be removed from the committee that they're on?
Nobody votes.
yes, so the answer to your question is yes, if they are at 4, they can be removed that committee. You have to serve on 2. So I would have to delegate them to another committee. So yes, Nelson.
I don't know.
Well, based on what you said, and something, so you were saying that the email, like a 3rd absence triggers, like an email to let them know when, but I would suggest that it should be at 2. At 2, telling them that they missed 2 meetings, and maybe that email can be done in conjunction, a form email that every committee chair uses the same email with the same wording, so it doesn't trigger where, let's say my communication, I'm kind of rough sometimes. So I may say something that you would not like, right? And you can't vet every email, but if emails, the same email that you put out for 3, you do it for 2, and you say it's come to our attention that you've missed 2 meetings, please note that at 3, that could trigger whatever process, right? It is, and at 4, this is what's gonna happen. And that can be sent in conjunction with the secretary and the committee chair. So that the communication is uniform. We're gonna get so stuck on the emails and trying to reach out to people that we're not going to accomplish getting over the frustration of people coming in late, leaving early, missing meetings, not getting work done, and then the committee chair is uncertain as to if they can even put people for presentations, because they're not even sure that a meeting is going to occur. So I think that we need to formalize 2 at least, an initial warning, 3 is the major one, and then 4th is like low, medium, and high.
Thank you. Angel, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, thanks. I have a suggestion, as it relates to the youth committee, as an example, that Alita and Justina be removed immediately from that committee. That doesn't require a vote. That's their poor attendance is putting Ashley's quorum at risk every single month.
May I ask Stanley also, if possible, because seriously, that's like, it's 7 PM coming in. And then leaving at, let's say the meeting ends at 9, leaving at like, no, 8:30, let's say the meeting ends at 8:30, leaving at like 8, so only here for like an hour.
Busy guy.
That's not me taking it personally against anyone, that's just a pattern that has been observed and
I understand why you feel that. You have
Okay,
a bad.
Angel, make it so.
That's 3 of them.
Okay,
They're removed.
thank you.
All right, we will.
so someone's gonna have to communicate, someone, not me, is gonna have to communicate to you before I accidentally walk there.
You're not even gonna care.
That they're off the committee, and that they have to identify another committee to be on, or otherwise they risk.
Not it.
Never to remove any.
Just give me a moment. All right, so process wise, look, the idea with having the chairs engaged, we can draft a form letter that is literally just copying and pasting. It takes less than 30 seconds for you to send that to CC, Rosa, Jess, and myself, and they missed.
Wait, who's sending that?
The chairs. the
For what?
Chairs. I think it would be helpful, the idea behind it, because then Rosa comes up behind and there's 3.
Oh, at the
And then-
2?
Yeah.
But why don't we just put it every month full board and you just,
But they don't come.
So let me, the crosstalk everything.
Okay.
It's a way to connect with your fellow members. I understand the frustration. I get it, having chaired multiple committees, as we all have. The attendance issue is not beholden to us alone. This
Okay.
is a citywide issue. A citywide issue. Again, and I understand, Russell, I wanted to address your point. Once we remove someone, yes, they could be appointed as a public member, but as the borough president's office, who has to reappoint them. And they frown upon reappointing members who were removed. So that's something that I can have a conversation with the MVPO's office. Is there the pipeline where we could do something like that? Thank you, Angel, for your recommendation for the removal. I appreciate that. It is done. I will send an email to the members saying they need to pick a different committee. So just let me get them on here. All right, with that, this is my recommendation. We can try this out, but either way, at 3, Rosa is sending. You missed 3, whether it's committee or full board, what those are. If you are having difficulty, it's real simple. Please talk to the chair, find another committee you can serve on. Okay, and then at 4, we vote to remove them, to initiate the removal process. That's what happens. Then they come before us and we ascertain the decision based on the facts they present to us. Questions, Jose?
no, just clarification. We're gonna do as such.
What your-
Now, our clarification is we're still moving forward with removing
Justina, correct?
Justina,
February.
and Alita now has 5 missing in 1 committee.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion.
And full board.
Full board, she has 3. She has 3 of them.
Especially as family committee.
She has 5.
Yes, Asher.
Motion to start the process to remove Alita. I cannot say her last.
And Alita doesn't need.
5. She missed 5. Can you?
Hi for you.
So if all of you were listening, Xavier just removed her from you.
Yeah.
Wait, but that,
Still has the 5 absences.
hold on a second, but see, that doesn't,
Now they say to each other.
well, that's not a good move then.
Okay, all right, so
Why would we do that?
let's try to listen. So you can be removed from the board either for meeting the criteria for missing full board meetings. or missing the criteria for two committees.
Oh, two coming.
Yes.
Tricky.
I didn't know that's.
You didn't have the other one.
People should listen to Angel. It goes
Touche.
through all this trouble of explaining things over and over and over again.
Touche.
So what I suggested to Xavier a minute ago was, since Alita had five, Alita and Justina had five missing youth, to remove them from that committee.
Yeah.
So that Asher's attack, the quorum, which he did. Now that's addressed. Alita will get a note saying they have to pick another committee. And then, you know, that will resolve itself.
And
How
we,
it resolves.
we have observed this practice in the past with other members.
But that doesn't reset them, right? Like hypothetically, okay, gotcha, okay.
No,
See, I wanna say one thing, I'm all for all of this. The problem is, the process fails when they come and they have their hearing. So this all sounds great, and it does, and then they'll come to their hearing, and that's where it won't work out. We
No,
won't.
no, 'cause we just have to vote.
No, but what I'm saying is, all this is good till they come and then they, you know,
I
the
know.
waterworks start and all that, and I'm guilty, I haven't voted people off that I should have, I'm gonna say it. That's why I said, we should make a commitment here, I'm serious, like, we should give each other dirty looks if they happen. Like, that, we're just gonna agree, like, no matter what they come here with, and that's not being insensitive. It's like, Nelson, like you said, right, I mean, look, we all have jobs and stuff, there comes a point where it's just like. And we're volunteering, it's worse, if you really are volunteering to make a difference and you can't come. And you're keeping that spot from someone who could, then you're being selfish. Regardless of what your reasons are. So like, I think we should all look at each other and say. That no matter what, when they come for their hearing, they're off, that's it. Like,
again, point taken, and so everyone's clear, because I know we're getting tired.
So for the clarification, back to it. Justina Williams is still,
On the February agenda, yes.
so can we make sure that this email goes out? Cause I'm a little
Our
disappointed.
told Angel,
I'm sorry.
he's sending it tomorrow,
Please,
he said this earlier.
Okay.
that's what's done.
I think this group will remove people. feel
I think
confident.
so. I
feel
hope.
confident.
Hold on.
Otherwise, I should,
So listen, it says again, section B, 1A, triple I. Its members shall attend no less than 2/3 of all meetings of the full board in any 12-month period. IV 4. Members shall attend no less than 2/3 of all meetings of the full board in any 12-month period. The other way you may be removed for attendance is the next section, which says members shall be members of no fewer than 2 committees, provided such requirement shall not apply to the chairperson. Members shall attend no less than 2/3 of the total number of meetings of all committees in which such member is a member in any 12-month period. So that is the only portion that is aggregate. Yes. Okay, now that we have clarified. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, team. We have a way forward. Is everyone clear?
here.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, very good. With that, we will now take roll.
Jose Alvarado,
Present.
Stephanie Arroyo,
Present.
then Brian, Rosa Diaz,
Present.
Jessica Elliott, Nelson Orama,
Present.
Claudia Perez, Asher Rodriguez,
President.
Xavier Santiago, present, as excused, Anne Marie Vasquez, Desiree Villanueva, Michelle, what's your comment?
Present.
Here.
Thank you.
So, yeah.